Welcome to r/idontworkherelady, where we share stories about normal people who are actual customers that are mistaken for employees at that establishment. This is TNA, top-notch audio. Get ready for some laughs. And at the end of these stories, we definitely appreciate your likes, comments, and definitely subscribe for sure. And this story is posted by u/the Quarantinian. Lady is entitled to my assistance. Warning, blood. Hospital food isn't crunchy. For whatever reason, none of it has a good, satisfying crunch. The crunchiest thing they seem to have is Raisin Bran, and that just doesn't do the trick. And after a week of being held captive by tubes and wires, I was ready for food that was actually satisfying to chew. Finally discharged, I stopped off at Hamungo chain grocery store for my craving. Don't judge, but all I wanted was a bowl of corn checks and freezing ice cold milk. Hand basket containing my crunchy treat. I was rifling through the milk section looking for the coldest jug with the latest expiration date they had. Yes, at most you can get milk that is only 2 days fresher than the jugs at the front, but I just got out of the hospital, so I was feeling really picky. When she lit up my life in exactly the same way that a swarm of locusts blots out the sun. She was wearing some kind of dark, expensive-looking pants and a white, dazzling white, over-borax silk blouse with draping folds that just screamed, "I have more money than you." I was bending over, head stuck in the cooler, and I could hear her talking about how we were out of some organic, grass-fed, free-range, no-hormone, royal cows, only that have never seen a poor person milk. I think the stuff sells for around $12 a gallon, and big grocery store keeps all of that stuff in their pretentious section where freezers are filled with $10 microwave dinners, $6 designer chips, and tiny cans of artisanal spring water carbonated with mermaid farts. At any rate, I'm not in that section. I don't work there. I don't care about her, so I ignore her. Big mistake on her part. Suddenly, I have a snake hissing in my ear the words, "You will look at me when I'm talking to you," and my wrist is grabbed and pulled. Now, I had just been released from a week at the hospital where I was on, among other things, a heparin drip, blood thinner, constantly fed through an IV tube which had been taped to my wrist, exactly where she was now grabbing me. The tube had been taped down, and while I ripped off the bandages before I left the hospital room, there was still some significant sticky tape gunk in the area. Whatever that stuff is, it usually takes 3 showers and a bottle of alcohol to get rid of all of the sticky. What else might stick to tape residue? How about butch fingers? She grabbed my wrist and yanked my arm up, but her fingers happened to stick to the skin a bit, resulting in 2 things. The sensation for her of getting some pine sap on her skin, and my skin being twisted far more than she expected, not that she would have cared anyway. The twisting and pulling of the skin released a bit of blood from the IV site, just a couple of drops, not really a big deal, but enough so that when she felt the sticky gunk on her fingers, she instinctively wiped her hand on her sleeve, leaving a small trail of blood on that field of spotless white. You know how some people pass out at the sight of blood. I mean, I don't, but she sure did. She dropped like her facade of friendliness if her triple whipped, ice-spiced, happy, no-fat soy mocha at Starbucks isn't served on a silver tray balanced on the back of a unicorn. And that's when the staff started to run up. Typical shouts of what happened, call an ambulance followed, with Milady regaining consciousness within a minute or so and started to scream about how I, the store employee, had thrown blood on her, clawing at her blouse, and going into absolute hysterics. Store security had arrived and was glaring at me menacingly, demanding to know what had happened. Fortunately, I had an ace just a few inches up my sleeve. An ace which I played as I said. This lady grabbed me, and it really hurt. Thing about heparin is that it is the only drug that can go into that specific IV site. I needed many other IVs in the hospital, so I had another IV site just a few inches up my arm where they had been injecting all kinds of other things. And that site looked ugly. A bruise the size of a silver dollar, brown and yellow and green, as if a parrot had binged on tricks and Lucky Charms, then threw up in the ball pit at Chuck E. Cheese. Previously hidden under my sleeve, I made sure it wasn't hidden now and displayed that bruise of honor like a middle-aged man displays a trophy yoga instructor in his convertible. She grabbed my arm because I wasn't paying attention to her and yanked. She left this bruise and it really hurts. That, coupled with the hospital armband I hadn't yet cut from my wrist, seemed to be all that I needed to turn the tide of opinion to my favor. I gave a statement to the police, who had eventually arrived, told them I wanted to press charges, got my milk, and headed for the door. A few days later, I received a call from a detective or a prosecutor or somebody, and they told me they had come to a plea agreement of some kind fairly quickly, and if I wanted to write out a victim impact statement, to have it in within a week. I told them that as long as something went onto her record, I was fine. The crunch was indeed satisfying. And this story is posted by u/ice_blade. Most useless self-service cashier ever. About 2 years ago, I, male, was in a supermarket doing some shopping after work, wearing just a white t-shirt and some jeans. It wasn't that busy, so there was only one regular cash register open, with 2 or 3 people in line and a set of like 6 self-scan registers. After collecting my basket full of groceries, I walked to the self-scan area and was finishing up scanning the last item in my basket and had just finished putting it in my shopping bag, sitting next to the self-scan register when Karen shows up. Okay. Don't you have a policy that if the line is longer than 2 people, that you open additional registers? I'm wondering why she's complaining to me in the otherwise empty self-scan area, but decide to answer anyway. There's nobody waiting at these registers, pointing around me, so I guess that doesn't apply. K. Well, I don't like to be kept waiting. Okay. K. Aren't you going to scan my groceries, or do I have to do everything myself? I'm completely flabbergasted. Huh? I don't. She steps up to the register and starts scanning the few items she had, effectively adding them to my tab, interrupting my response with, K. Exaggerated sigh. The youth nowadays is so lazy, and she goes off on a long rant about how the youth is useless, I'm in my 30s, and that customer service is worthless, and how she still has the ethics that she was taught as a child to work hard and whatnot. I cannot get a single word in. In the meantime, she finishes scanning her items and taps her way through the payment process without checking the final list of items on her receipt, nor checking the price, and pays the bill. Finally, she takes a breath, and I repeat what I was trying to say all along. Look, I don't work here. K. No, indeed. You just stand here, costing the company money. I've never seen a more useless cashier. At that point, my groceries were paid for by her, and I was tired of her condescension, so I just sarcastically said, thanks, and let her go on her way. If she really wants to pay for my groceries and insults me when I'm trying to warn her, I'm not going to stop her. I shop at the store regularly and check with the customer service a few days later. But apparently, Karen didn't complain about her bill being significantly higher than it should have been. The customer service girl found the entire thing quite funny and mentioned that is one of the reasons they're called self-serve registers. She definitely served herself. And this story is posted by u/Mr. Not Unhappy. Why won't you tell me your name? Because I asked you first. I'm lucky enough to be able to work from home during this interesting time. I've had some health issues in the past, so I'm very thankful I have that option. My coworkers will often call me on my home phone during business hours because my mobile gets lousy reception in my area when the weather is bad. I don't mind. In fact, I prefer my home phone as long as the calls are only during reasonable and work hours. As a result, I've gotten used to picking up immediately and not checking the caller ID during the day. While I've gotten the occasional robocall, this was my first random I don't work here lady call. I could tell it was a wrong call from the start, but I've already been really bored lately, so I couldn't help myself and decided to have some fun with the caller. Me is me. IR is irate lady. Me. Hello. IR. Where are you? No hello or anything. Me. At home? Where else would I be? IR. Why are you at home? Me. Because there's a pandemic going on? IR. Why aren't you at my house? Me. Why would I be? It's not like we're dating or anything. IR. What? Me. Who is this? IR. What's your name? Me. You called me. IR. Tell me your mother freaking name right now. Me. I'm not giving you my name. IR. Why not? Me. Because I asked you first. IR. What? Me. I mean, it's only fair that you tell me your name when I ask first. IR. Where's your manager? Your behavior is unacceptable. Me. My manager's at home too. Who the hell are you? IR. Don't you dare speak to me like that. I need my AC fixed now. It's over 100 degrees today. Me. Then you should probably call a repairman. IR. That's why I'm calling you. Me. Lady, I work tech support. IR. What? What do you mean? Me. You know, computers. I provide tech support for my company's users. She got quiet for a moment. IR. You're not the AC repairman? She calmed down as she seemed to realize something was wrong. Me. Nope. IR. Well, can you transfer me to him? Me. I could transfer you, but I don't think an accountant will be able to fix your AC either. They are great help for helping you with your taxes, though. IR. Huh? Me. I work tech support for an accounting firm. She immediately hung up, but has since called back 5 more times today. I'm guessing she's still working on dialing the correct number. I've decided to have more fun with her, so each time I see her number show up on the caller ID, I immediately pick up and say, still not the AC guy, but if you'd like some help with your computer, my rates are reasonable. There's always a pause before she hangs up. I like to think that it's the words, oh, sorry to bother you, trying desperately to get out of her throat. In fairness, it really is over 100 degrees here today and will continue to be for at least the next 10-day forecast. So I don't blame her for wanting someone there ASAP. I just don't know the first thing about repairing an AC unit. Nothing too dramatic with today's encounter, but it was the most fun I've had in a while. Thanks for the entertainment today, irate lady. Those were 3 great stories. To hear the best stories of the week, click on the video in the top left-hand corner. To hear more Reddit stories all related to what you just heard, click on the video in the top right-hand corner. If you have not already done so, click on the subscribe button in the bottom right-hand corner. Once again, this is TNA, Top Notch Audio. Thank you for listening and have yourself a great day.